Good day, and welcome to the single most important reading lesson that you will ever have in your life. The skills we will be discussing in this lesson are critical for you to be the greatest reading detectives to walk the face of the earth. So act now and continue watching. Well, hopefully, my introduction wasn't too over the top, but could you tell that maybe I thought very highly of this particular lesson? Well, there's a reason for that. The purpose of this lesson is to discuss the skill of detecting bias in an author's writing. As you know, there is power in persuasion. Sometimes the author's purpose is to try to persuade you towards a particular point of view. Most common places where you will see persuasive writing would be in advertisements, maybe even movie reviews, or perhaps even letters to the editor. The reality is that persuasive writing is all about influence. The author wants to share his or her opinion with you and hope to sway you into their camp. Sometimes the author may want you to take a particular action that he or she agrees with. Persuasive writing is a demonstration of bias towards a particular topic or opinion, and the goal is for you to share that author's opinion. To better understand what bias means, we need to look at the definition. All it is a slanted viewpoint that the writer wants you to believe. You're going to typically encounter two types of bias. Positive bias is the first kind, and in this case, the author is going to point out the positives of a product or maybe even a particular point of view. Oftentimes we'll see these in commercials and advertisements. Those ads that say, buy this product, because it's the greatest product ever. It's new and improved. The purpose of these is to appeal to your emotions or self-esteem to convince you that you need this new and improved product. But an interesting thing is, can you recall an advertisement where somebody is selling a new computer or the latest iPhone is out? Do they ever point out the negative? No, of course not. They want you to buy the product. So naturally, they're going to bring out everything positive and never bring out the negative. The other type of bias that you will see is negative bias. The purpose of this is to turn you against a particular product or point of view. Right now we're in the middle of an election year. So we see negative bias constantly in political ads, accusing the candidate of doing this or that, all to try to prove to you that you do not need to vote for candidate A. They don't point out the positives of candidate B, just the negatives of candidate A to try to turn you against him or her. So with negative bias, there's no mention of positive attributes or characteristics of the competition. Again, they want you to make a particular choice. So they're going to point out the negatives of one choice so that you go the other way. Let's take a moment and consider this advertisement. New, improved Glimmer Conditioner gives your hair the luxurious feel you deserve. I'm sure we have all seen ads that, look something like this. So what does the ad want you to believe about Glimmer Conditioner? Well, we can begin by looking at certain words that are used. They refer to it as new and improved. They use the word luxurious, and they want you to end with the idea that you know what? You deserve that feeling, and you deserve this product. New and improved tells us that it's better than before. Luxurious, when we hear that word, it gives us an image of luxury. I hear the word luxurious. I am dating myself a little bit here, but I think of lifestyles of the rich and famous. This life of luxury is going to make you a new person, make you look like $1,000,000. And you deserve it. So you need to buy this product because you're entitled to feel like a new person. Sounds good. Sounds like, I need to get this conditioner. But what does the ad not tell us? Well, we can clearly see there's nothing ever mentioned negative about Glimmer Conditioner. They don't tell us that, honestly, it's not really any different than any other conditioner. Furthermore, they want you to buy the product. So is it a good business practice? Is it good marketing to inform you that other conditioners cost half the price? No, of course not. They want you to think, they want to convince you that this conditioner is the best so that you will spend that extra money. Whenever we see biased writing, it's always going to have certain characteristics. So we need to learn to identify what those are. First of all, the author is only going to bring out the facts that support a particular argument. Whatever his opinion is, whatever the idea is that he is trying to sway you towards, they're only going to tell you the positive, and they're only going to appeal to facts about that point of view. Oftentimes, they're going to bring out the weakest opposing arguments in an attempt to disprove them. So they look for what we would call that low-hanging fruit, the stuff that's easy to just say, you know what, this is wrong. And then often, biased writing will use loaded language. And what this means is they'll use words with a strong positive or negative connotation. Now, as you recall, in an earlier lesson, we talked about denotation and connotation. Connotation are the words that are used in order to bring about certain emotions. Well, once again, political ads are a great example of loaded language. We may see one candidate referred to as flexible and another referred to as a flip-flopper. Well, which one has the positive connotation and which one has the negative? Well, flexible sounds better. It sounds like it's somebody who is willing to adapt, willing to change for the better. Whereas a flip-flopper sounds like someone who can't decide what position he wants to take. Well, guess what? Flexible and flip-flopper actually mean the same thing. But these words are used specifically for a candidate that they want you to think of in a positive light or in a negative light. We may even hear that one candidate is focused and the other is obsessed with unimportant details. Well, guess what? They mean the same thing. They mean exactly that the candidate zeroes in on specific things. By using focused, they want you to think that that candidate is focusing in on those positive issues, those positive details. They want to cast that candidate in a good light. The other candidate, they want to say, is obsessed with unimportant details. In other words, you don't need to listen to him because he's not focused on the issues that matter to you. Let's take a look at another ad. Do twice the work in half the time with the amazing new Think software. Are you tired of working long hours at your computer? Don't you deserve a life? Try Think. This new software practically reads your mind. It's so efficient it will free up hours every week for you to escape your desk. At only $100, it'll be the best investment you've ever made. So what does this ad want you to believe? Well, let's look at some of the key words that they use in the advertisement. Phrases like half the time, amazing, new, informing you that, you know what, you deserve a life. They're appealing to your emotions. Efficient, free up hours. Okay, so now we're digging into time management. Would you like to have more time? Have some time to actually escape your desk. Get away from the work at hand. Then they start appealing to your finances. This is the best investment that you've ever made. Well, so what do you think? Sound like software that you want to use? Well, the thing is, it doesn't really tell us anything about the software. It makes many claims. For example, it's supposed to be new and amazing, but the ad doesn't tell us why. What's new and amazing about it? There's no mention of how it works. We know that it saves time, but they don't tell us how. Based on the information given in this ad, we are unable to determine if it will actually save us time. But we need to remember what the writer's goal is. He or she wants us to get wrapped up in the bias. Let's get wrapped up in the language and what they are presenting so that you forget about the facts. This type of ad appeals only to emotions. It's going to make general assumptions about your needs, because who doesn't want to have more time to do the things they enjoy? Anytime I hear that something will save me time, I listen, I pay attention. My time is valuable. So by appealing to that general need that everyone has to have more time to do things, they're going to tug on the emotions and get you excited without really telling you anything about the product. So as we can see in these examples, persuasion is a powerful thing. The purpose of persuasion is to influence you to share an opinion or take a particular action. The author wants you to agree with him or her, or maybe even agree to disagree with him or her. As you read, we need to be careful with the bias that is presented to us. We have to ask, what is the author's viewpoint that he or she wants you to believe? By taking the information presented, evaluating their opinions, we then can make an informed decision about whether or not we actually believe what he or she wants us to. Also pay attention to loaded language, those words with positive or negative connotations. Oftentimes, as we see in political ads, they are used to try to sway you towards one candidate and away from another. To best detect bias, again, think about what the author is wanting us to believe about what he or she has to say. Look at the facts and make decisions for yourself whether or not you agree.